Welcome everybody to Motives Monday, right? It's fast past exciting night tonight because Jackie is going to do a full glam look with
Hey
me.
guys.
So we're so excited about having you guys join us tonight and all of you joining us this evening at 7 o'clock. And we're going to try to be short and sweet tonight because we know we love to talk because girls don't have enough time to talk. So we've been talking a lot every Monday, especially me, because I'm cooped up with Andrew and JR. So I always need to find a girl time to talk. And I'm going to try to be more quiet tonight so I can learn with you guys and we can learn from Jackie. And then we will go through this fun application of full glam, right?
Yep, full glam.
And then, you know, we can have a couple of thoughts or questions at the end of the night and make sure that everybody understood it. If there's any questions, if you're stuck along the way, ask us, let us know. But we're excited. We have a lot of people on with us tonight and we're excited that you guys all joined us. We're happy to see you. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend.
Thank you.
And Lee, do you want to just remind everybody how the views they can see?
Yeah, so usually up in the right-hand corner, depending on if you're on a computer, you can kind of change the view. And of course, if you're watching it on Facebook, you'll kind of see different views and it'll kind of switch back from Jackie as panelist mode. Otherwise, there is a gallery mode as well. But welcome everybody. I'm super excited tonight to learn from Jackie as well, because I love this palette.
I'm super excited to be here with you guys. Thank you, Motives, Loren. I love you guys so much. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick run through so you guys understand the lineup of the products, just so it's easy and easier flow. We're going to start with our brows. So if you guys have the brow palette, then we're going to go to our eyes. So make sure your Horizon palette is ready. Then if you guys have your Kohl eyeliner in Onyx and the little black dress gel liner, that's great. Then go ahead and set up your flawless foundation sticks. Whatever color you're matched is perfect. And that's the bundle because we're gonna do the foundation, the concealer, the highlight, the contour. That's the awesome thing about them. And I love them so much because it just makes it so easy. And we're gonna apply that with the sponge. So make sure you guys have the sponge. We're gonna do the banana powder. Make sure you have that. Make sure you have the Hampton Socialite, the California Girl bronzer, the peach beige blush. And we're gonna do either mascara or if you want to put on your lashes, that's great. Or you could just do a couple of coats of mascara. And we're going to do She's a Doll or Daddy's Girl, whichever one you like. And we're going to finish it off with our 10 Years Younger spray. So I just want to make sure you guys have all that lined up in that order because that's how we're heading. Good?
Got it.
Okay, perfect. So Loren, we're gonna start with our eyebrows. When I work with you, and you know, we always tag team with Milo. He's always doing her blowout. So I always like to frame her face by starting off with her eyebrows. So if you guys want to go ahead and grab the eyebrow brush from Motives and just brush up your eyebrows. Make sure you just really brush them and make them really smooth because we're gonna go in with the brow palette and we're going to start filling in. So let's work on that together. I see you guys. And Loren, I usually mix like the dark and the like light blonde color.
So we're going to watch you first. I'm going to watch you first to see what you do.
Okay. Let me just grab my mirror. So basically, I just grabbed the brush that comes in the palette because it's just the perfect little brow brush. And I like to start with the lighter color here on the inside inner corner and just kind of paint it upwards. And then just keep going to the middle of the brow with a little bit of the darker. So I like to go from light to dark, really, and just give the brow.
You put the wax on it first, right?
No, the wax I like to do at the end to seal it.
Really?
But I mean, if you have a preference, and of course you could do the wax just to make it stay longer. That's a great tip.
'Cause
But
I always feel like with this one, I always like to mix a little bit with it because I feel like it stays on a little bit better and it's new.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a great tip if you want to do that first and then, mix it up with the colors. But I also like to do it at the end to give it that final brushing and give your eyebrows like that really pretty editorial look, as I call it. And we're using the palette, but if you guys have a pencil or whatever you guys are using for your eyebrows, that's totally fine too.
I love our brow kit because the wax really does hold it for a long time.
It does hold it. And you could use, what I like to do sometimes when I'm with you is I like to grab the spoolie and just kind of brush it on the wax. So I'll show you. Here's the spoolie, here's the wax. So I like to do this. And then I like to go in and brush the eyebrows up.
You do it with the powder? I'm sorry.
No, with the wax. Here.
Okay. So can you tell us too, Jackie, where you end the brow? Because a lot of people, I feel like, don't know where to end their brow at the end.
So the brow has to be, okay, I'm grabbing this brush. This is the end of my eye right here. See where I'm pointing it? So you literally just have to angle it upwards and you're creating a V, Loren. So I know your eyebrows, like usually we have to, paint them, like put the powder on so you could really emphasize it. So what I do is
you just angle it like this, right? So wherever I'm just showing them so they know. So when you
right, so
end,
yeah,
stop there.
So right at the end, you just kind of angle it like a V, and that's where you're gonna stop.
So what she means is if your brow stops before that, you want to extend it a little bit.
Right, so you want to extend it to really make your eye bigger and it frames your face. So make sure that they're both symmetrical. Okay, you don't want to do one side shorter than the other. And yep, and then just do it with finish it off, seal it with the wax. But since you're mixing it, Loren, it should be good to go. Let me see everyone's eyebrows. All right. So I'm gonna move on quickly. So you guys have your foundation bundles. The lightest color is gonna be your highlighter. So if you don't have a primer, what I like to do, and one of my tricks is I take the lighter foundation, okay, in this case would be French vanilla for you, Loren. And we're gonna dab it with our fingers and we're gonna go ahead and use it as a primer for our eyelid. So just go ahead with your ring finger and gently dab it all over your eye from your lash line to your brow bone, okay? And how we're gonna set this is with the eyeshadow, okay? So I'll show you guys. This is a really great trick if you guys are going away, you have your foundations, you don't have to carry so many products. There's multi-function for this. All right, looks good. So now we're gonna grab our Horizon palette and we're gonna use the eyeshadow brush, which is this one here that has it's like a little dome shape. And we're gonna go in and we're gonna dab it on the shallow color, which is this pretty pinky gold color right in the middle. So we're gonna use this color all over our eyelid, but before we put our brush, Kimmy, let's make sure our crease, our lid is not with any creases, and then let's go right in with the color, again, from the lash line, all the way up to the brow bone. Not too heavy, Loren, because I know when I do your makeup, we do it lightly.
I'm not gonna go all the way up because I personally, I've said this before, I don't like too much brilliance up here.
Exactly.
I feel like my bone structure is okay and most people's are. So generally I highlight with just concealer there and I don't go all the way up all the time unless I'm
Right.
doing an editorial thing.
Right. Or unless, yeah, or unless we're doing like something big on stage where we want,
Right.
you know, a little bit of brilliance there. But, you know, if you do it light enough, it's not going to look too much.
Right.
So, okay, so that was the shallow, right? Am I going too fast for you guys?
We're just watching you and then we'll do it, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So now I'm going to go to this brown one, the Untold color. And I'm going to use the same brush just because the first color was really light, so it's okay. And I'm going to go in on my lid up to my crease. Okay.
Yes, all over the lid.
Yep. Don't pass your crease though. And just blend it back and forth.
When I have my eyes closed and she's doing my makeup, I never pay attention.
I know, and I feel like we do it so quickly because we always got to go.
Yeah. But it's
And
good.
there's times that you're like, did you put foundation on? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, just so you know, don't get in the habit of me doing this because I really think that having your makeup done is a treat.
Okay, so that's one eye. Now we're going to do the other. Lash line all the way up to brow bone. Don't worry, these colors have so much pigment, guys. It's okay if you put a lot because you could just keep blending that same application. So just blend it over and over. And it's not going to look dark because we're going to add the beautiful blue and green. So don't worry about that. And this look that we're doing, Lauren, is the one that I did when we were in September for the convention.
Oh, great. I love that look.
So yeah, this look is really, really cool. So go ahead and use the same brush with the brown and just do your lower lid a tiny bit. Nothing too dark.
Where are we doing it? Under the eye?
Yep, under the bottom lid, right by underneath the waterline. Yep, perfect. All right, look at you guys. You guys are good? So while you do that, I'll go ahead and just do the blue that's coming up. And I'm using the other motives brush, which is the crease one. So what I'm gonna do here, guys, I'm gonna pop it right in the middle.
The blue color?
Yep, the oceanic. Can you see that?
And where are you putting it?
So I'm putting in the center of the eye, right? And then we're gonna go up a tiny bit above the crease and just blend it back and forth.
So in the center only of the lid.
Yes, and then we're gonna go right above the crease and we're gonna blend it.
Okay. Here we go.
And this color is so beautiful. I remember when I saw this color on Maria Checa,
Oh, I loved it.
we were like, wow.
Yep, I love this color. This is the color I have when I have my braids on.
Right, yeah, and she inspired that look that day. So we're gonna go ahead and do the other side.
You guys can see why I do shadow first. I always make everybody do shadow first because all that extra stuff that falls on your face is so much easier to take it off.
Yes, exactly. We always, and since we're always like trying, I want Loren, like, we don't want her to sit with us too long because she's so busy, right? So we want to make sure we're working quickly and efficiently.
She tries to be nice because I get very impatient. I don't have nails and makeup and hair. It drives me crazy.
Right.
Doing something else. Do we do the in the crease? Do we do the whole crease though, right?
Yes, the whole crease. So just lightly go back and forth and just blend it with your brush. Okay, and then we're gonna take the same brush, right? And we're gonna go above the brown that we did on the lower lid, Lauren. Just right in the middle.
In
We're
the
gonna
middle,
do-
with the
right in
blue?
the middle. Yep, at the blue. So what this does is just gives your eye a pop of color. Right at the bottom in the middle. Okay. You guys are looking good.
Yeah.
So the next step after this is we're gonna take our Onyx eyeliner and I'm gonna do the bottom waterline. And we're gonna do the whole waterline.
Sorry, can you say that again, hon?
The Onyx pencil, we're gonna do the bottom waterline.
Okay.
And we're gonna do the whole waterline, because sometimes, you know, you could just do the ends or the inner corners, but we're gonna do the whole thing.
Got it.
And so this is the reason why we did the shadow first is because it's gonna keep the pencil in without, you know, bleeding out or giving you like that raccoon eye. So it's kind of like that powder that you're setting. Pretty. This is such a fun, edgy look. That's why we did the braids that day, remember?
I love that.
So after that, we're gonna grab our little black dress. And from the brushes, I really love using the Motives lip brush because it just has like that perfect precision. And we're gonna go ahead and do the liner on the top. And here's the thing, when I was doing this with Loren last time, a few weeks ago, we did basically like the connect the dots. So I did one dot in the middle, one dot right at the end of the eye where I want the wing to be. And then I did the other dot in the inner corner. And then now all you guys, what you need to do is just gently connect the lines together. And that's the easiest way to do a liner. Has it been easy for you, Lauren?
No, I can't see well up close,
I know.
but it's working.
No, it really is the easiest, guys. And then I like to hold my eye a tiny bit and pull it out just so, you know, it's a little bit more smooth, but like Kimmy, you're doing it right. That's perfect. So I'm gonna do the other eye.
Anybody find eyeliner hard besides me?
Yes, but I think this 3-dot tip has changed my life completely, Jackie. So
For real?
it's definitely a little difficult. It's going to take more practice, and I feel like being at home and doing these weekly sessions is a good practice for when we're going to be out and about.
Right. And you know what? If 3 is still not enough, you could just kind of dot your line as you go, and that keeps your hand steady. Look at Lee. She's like, I'm done. What's next? Okay, perfect. How you doing, Lauren? Good?
I'm still doing it, but go ahead. You can go. I'm a fast catcher. I'm just slower today.
No, it's all good. I feel like there's a few that are still there, but I'll
And
give you.
since some people are catching up a little bit, I did see a good question come in.
Yeah.
Somebody is saying that their eyelids aren't shaped like yours.
Right.
Any tips for maybe somebody that has like a deeper like set eyes, like more, I don't know.
So deeper set eyes, I would just recommend that you go for the color and just keep adding and actually make it more vibrant and you know, more intense going up the crease. Now, if you don't have a crease, I think it's a great opportunity to create one, right? Draw it out, shape it, and then blend it. I think that works for anybody really. If you have deep set eyes, like my mom has really deep set eyes, and I love doing her makeup because I just pack on shadow, and then when she's like talking and smiling and you see all those candid moments and pictures, she looks fabulous. All right, so after we're done with that, we're gonna move on to our face. So we're gonna do the foundation sticks, okay? And let's make sure that you have no foliage on your face. I feel like my face looks good. Make sure that it's clean. And I'm gonna start, I like when I do Loren's makeup, I like to do foundation, concealer, highlighter, and then contour. I don't like to do everything at once because you never know like who's walking in. You know, you don't want like her face to look like she has a lot going on with the makeup. So I'm gonna go in with warm sand. That's my color. You guys obviously have what's matched for you.
Mhm.
And I like to go from the inner corner out. Just pull it out the bottom by your chin. And this is your foundation. So there's really no right way of doing it. It's just apply and blend. And I'm using the sponge because I like to press the foundation sticks, the color onto the skin. It makes the skin look
It's
so
hard.
soft.
For some reason, for me, it's hard to see you because I have a lot of little pictures. Can you just describe where you're putting it so I know?
Okay, so
I don't know if somebody else.
start from the inner corner. So from the center of your face by where your
We're doing
nose,
concealer, right?
huh?
We're doing concealer or foundation?
The foundation. So you're gonna do warm sand.
I got it.
Okay, so you're gonna start the center going outwards, down the chin, and then the forehead. You could just go side by side. And then I like to use a sponge, Loren, and press the color onto your skin. So just like, it's like you're dabbing it all over, you're giving yourself a massage. And don't forget your ears, because like my ears sometimes are red. So I like to, and of course your neck, underneath your neck. So just blend all those areas that, you know, you don't think about it so often, but if you're taking pictures, if it's your wedding or, you know, special occasions where you really want your makeup to look flawless, that's when you have to really think about those areas. Any questions? And just make sure that you go underneath your nose and you dab that area really well, because I find like sometimes I see lots of skin through and foundation. I want to make sure that you guys are blending those areas that you don't normally think about. You know what I mean? This is like beauty school.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, Loren, we're gonna go ahead and do the warm peach. That's like our concealer color. So I just like to run it right at the underneath the eyes like this.
Thank you, Mr. Weissman. Way plenty, okay? Listen, take it away now.
And just dab that area. And you're doing warm peach, Loren. That's your concealer color.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, great.
Put this one away.
And just dab it. You could go down a little bit like by your nose.
Can you show them the technique of how you put on the concealer? Because I think that's important, because sometimes people overkill the concealer.
Right, so right now what I did is I literally just dabbed it like I did a line here and a line here. And then when you use your sponge, you could work it down towards your nose and just press it in and blend out. All right.
So I like to do my concealer Jackie knows. I like to pull my concealer out just a little bit to where the wing is, so it really emphasizes.
Right.
And I'm really, really sensitive, and Jackie knows this. I always like to put a little extra concealer by the mouth lines here.
Exactly.
So, because I believe it really melts the wrinkles away into the skin.
Yeah, and it brightens it. So when you're taking photos or video, it just looks brighter and smoother. So the next step we're gonna do is the highlight. So you could also do that with the highlight, Lauren. You could just take the highlight and do it right on top of your cheekbone, like so. You could do the center of your face and down the bridge of your nose.
Yep.
And I like to highlight first because I like to see like those, you know, points of the face where you want to lift and brighten, Lauren.
Yes.
Right, and then your chin. You could do your Cupid's bow to give your, you know, start giving your lip that shape of, you know, like a bigger illusion.
Yeah, which is something I do a lot. I always give I mean, I have full lips anyway, but I always try to give the illusion that they're bigger.
Right. So now we're gonna go with the brulee color, and we're gonna put the contour. So I like to go right underneath your cheekbones, which is like right where underneath the highlight is. I like to do the temples and around the forehead. And I actually like, I know you like to contour, Lauren, with the powder, but I like to do this as a base first, and then we do set it with the powder.
If you see, she kind of made a 3 from the top of her forehead down underneath the cheekbone.
Yep.
Number 3.
Yep, we're like this.
So I always try to remember that when I'm doing it by myself, which is.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And that's also really great tip when you're doing bronzer.
Yeah.
So now we could take the sponge. And so I want you to blend the light first.
And can you
You know,
tell people, Jackie, because I want people to feel like,
yeah,
we're not all obviously in person, but maybe you could just try to tell people where they would put their contour when it comes to their cheekbones, because not everybody knows that.
right.
If you don't put it in the right place, it really does make a drastic difference.
Right. So what we're going to do is when you do the contouring, guys, what you want to do is go right underneath your cheekbone and right where the tip, you see like the corner of my eye right here where the liner is, you have to take it down, and basically here is where you would stop. You don't want to pass that line, okay? Because you don't want to, you know, contouring is so important. You have to know your face shape, and you have to teach yourself like, what face shape do I have? But if you don't know, then this is what you would follow. Take the tip liner here where my wing is, where the end of your liner is, and then go down. Don't pass that point, because then when you put blush, it's not going to look muddy, and it's not going to look, you know, smooth.
And then, so you can just go halfway down to the cheek, basically, to stop.
Just right halfway. Don't go more than that, because remember, you still have to add blush. You still have to put bronzer. So we want to keep it, you know, not too intense either.
Yes. And then I always put the highlighter back on my nose, because you know how I am about it.
Right. I love that. So now just go ahead and blend. You could do the light first and then move on to the contour, the darker colors. And I like to use the sponge. And, you know, I think the sponge is a great tool to press the product on and keep it on a longer time. That's good. Some people like to do the fish face and like suck in their cheeks. And then they like to draw it on. If that's easier, that's great too. But just remember, don't pass the center of the cheek when you're contouring. Any questions?
Jackie, people want to know if there's any tips for contouring their nose.
Yes, of course, there's tons of tips. So I like to, when I use the cream, because you know it's different. When I use the cream, I like to go above your nose. So if you want that very thin contouring, make that illusion of your nose being very, very thin and pointy, I like to take my fingers with the cream and just rub it up and down and blend it with the dark color, guys. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna set it with Hampton Socialite, but you need to go right above your nose, okay? Leaving that tiny little space for the highlighter. Okay. Let me blend this side. You guys are doing great.
You guys are all so quiet. Nobody has any questions as they're moving, right?
I know, look at Betty, she's going in.
Everybody, they're like working it.
I love how they blend so easily. That's what I love about the foundation sticks.
They blend so easy. They're buildable, right? You could do like even more coverage if you layered them. And they're really gonna last all day. So let me just pat this in. So my base is ready. What I'm gonna do is take a little bit of the banana powder, and I'm just going to set everything that we just did, Lauren, with the banana powder. And I love this powder because it's really pretty and translucent, and it just helps kind of put everything in place. So I'm using this brush from Motives. It's the powder brush. And very lightly, because, you know, I don't like to use a lot of powder also. So I like to just do it very, very lightly, just to kind of set everything.
Yeah, so unless you're young with oily skin, you don't need that much powder.
Right, right, you don't.
All it does is it will eventually just, you want to take away from any fine lines that you may have. So I'm really sensitive about, Jackie knows, I'm always like, hey, light on the powder.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I think like when I, you know, I'm always like with so many beautiful girls working, and like I always feel like less is more. Like let your skin be the one that takes over, you know what I mean? And then if you are oily, then you just powder the T-zone and just let your skin be, let it breathe.
Yeah.
So now I'm moving on to Hampton Socialite, and here is where we're gonna do like that 3, Lauren, that you just mentioned to me. And with that movement, we're basically setting our contour, okay? So we're gonna dab, and we're gonna go ahead and do the 3. So I like to go here. I like to go right underneath, and then down the jawline and go down the neck. To the other side. We're gonna go down underneath your brow bone, your brow, not your brow bone, your cheekbone.
Jawbone.
And then your jawbone, yeah. And then we're gonna blend down.
Everybody looks so pretty. I think I'll stop putting on makeup so I can watch everybody. Oh, man, don't you wish you could just push a button and get dressed?
Right? That would be so amazing. And then Lauren, I know you like to do the contour on your nose. You like to use the Hampton Socialite. And I also like to use, I mean, I have so many brushes, but I like, and I don't know if you felt this, Lauren, when I do your makeup, but I also like to go in with my middle fingers, and I just kind of rub it down.
Yeah, that's what I just did a minute ago.
Yeah. So what that does is just it helps blend.
Like a little more defined line.
Exactly. And it doesn't look too harsh as well.
We do it very light, but I still like to make it super defined because where our nose keeps growing as we get older. Why? I do not know.
All right. So our next product that I'm going to do is the California Girl. And now, so here with this is we're going to go really lightly, and it's more for like that beautiful, you know, shine that the bronzer has, okay? Because we already set the contour, so this is more for like that pretty shine. So I'm going to go in with the same brush, the powder brush, And we could also follow the same 3. So right at the temples, a little bit on the forehead, right underneath your cheekbone, and then your jawbone. And what I like to do on Loren is I like to go just a tiny bit across the center of her bridge on the nose. So that always gives it a sun-kissed look, right? Because when we tan, our noses is what gets red. So you want to make sure you have like that little sparkle, that little shine there. Not too much, but still looks really pretty. All right, Kimmy, look at you.
Wow.
So the next product that we're going to use is the peach beige blush. And this is a great color. It's beautiful as a highlighter. It's beautiful as a blush, And what I like to is I like to smile. And then right here on the apples of the cheek, in circular motions, guys, we're going to do it just right there. You're not going to move from the center, okay? Because we already contoured and we already highlighted and we did bronzer. So we don't want to make a big, mess out of what we just did. We want to make sure everything is in place.
Andrew, can you put up that sponge I just dropped there onto the table?
Good. All right. Look at Sabrina.
Wow. Look at all of you girls. Kathleen, look
I
at you.
know.
You look great. Betty's in there. Retta. They've been looking hot.
Isha looks good. Look at her shadow shining.
Hot. You got that nose all snatched.
I love it.
And Andrea, look how beautiful your eyes jump out on the screen. Andrea, how did I do? You're my audience.
Not beautiful. Beautiful.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. So the next step, guys, is going to be the mascara or lashes, whatever you prefer. I'm going to do mascara. I usually do like natural lashes on Loren, and then I do a whole bunch of mascara.
So yeah, I like natural lashes because they look better up close. But if I'm on stage, and sometimes I'll do them bigger, but I really prefer to do natural overall.
Right. Yeah, no, and honestly, natural always, especially when you're doing like a colorful eye, I like the attention to go on the eyeshadows. So we're gonna do the other, please do the bottom too. Also the bottom lashes, really important, especially if you're not doing lashes.
Because it really finishes off the look.
Right, yeah, it just gives it like that final touch.
And our brush is really good for the bottom lashes.
Yep, and what I love is that you can layer this mascara so much and really build the lashes. Great. So, Loren, we're gonna contour our lips.
Yeah, why don't you talk them through how we do that? Because I really do. That's a big thing for me because I don't use a lot of lip liners, but I do work on contouring my lips so I can get the full effect I like.
Right. So I'm gonna use the crease brush. I'm gonna show it to you right now. I'm just cleaning it a bit. I'm gonna use the crease brush, this one. I really love to use the Hampton Socialite and go right underneath the lip. So as you can see, it's giving my lips the illusion that I have liner and that they are bigger than what they really are. So that's the bottom lip. Can you see that? Just right underneath it.
Are you going underneath the entire lip?
Yep, go underneath the entire lip. And just with your finger, just smooth it out a tiny bit. And then I like to go right above my lip line, natural lip liner, the natural lip line with the powder. So this is gonna give my lip the illusion that it's bigger without having that harsh lip liner. And if you want your lipstick to last, you could go ahead and fill it in with that color. Now this is a great tip, guys, because this is gonna help keep it on longer.
Also going to make your lips look just fuller.
Yeah, exactly. And you could take a little bit of that shallow eyeshadow from the Horizon palette and just really hit right on the Cupid's bow just to give like that highlight. Do you see that? Perfect. And I'm using, which one's this? This is She's a Doll. I know you're gonna use Daddy's Girl, Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go in.
I like both. You know, I usually mix both.
Right, exactly.
That's usually my same formula for year after year.
No, I love this. These formulas are great and the colors are beautiful. There, I'm wearing She's a Doll. All right. Let's see who's with me on the lips. All right.
Love this color. I'm doing Daddy's Girl. I think that's
Daddy's Girl is beautiful. You know, they're not really that big of a difference. So one is just a little pinkier. The other one is a little bit more nude, like more brownie, but they're very close. They're very close in color.
I like to do Daddy's Girl kind of on the outside, and then She's a Doll just in the center a little bit of the lips, and it kind of
That's
gives
perfect.
a little bit of an ombre.
That's gorgeous. Yeah, totally. You could use an ombre. Let's see, what do you guys do? Let me see where you guys at. Okay, so my last step, of course, you know this, Lauren, we always do the 10 years younger spray. So I'm gonna go ahead and
Make sure
spray.
your lashes are dry.
Yeah, make sure your lashes are dry. And your glue, if you're doing false lashes, make sure that's everything is dry. And then go ahead and apply. And then right at the end, when I'm done with Lauren and we spray her, I just take a tiny bit of powder and just powder the center and her chin. And we are finished. I feel like this took really quickly.
No, it was really good.
Everyone looks great too. Everyone's fabulous. Everyone's gonna have to make sure to take a picture before you take it off tonight and make sure to post it and tag Motives Cosmetics and Loren in it.
Yes.
You can see up close. We have a lot of people watching too that I'd love to see your looks.
Yeah, and guys, don't be afraid of color. This palette is so amazing. I love the green. I love the jade color. You could take the jade color and do it right in the inner corner. So I'm gonna do that just to show you guys. And it's just such a beautiful pop of green. Do you see that?
yeah, everyone looks so good with the color, and I'm
Oh,
more
you put the
like a
green in the corner.
natural. I'm a
In the inner
natural
corner.
inner corner.
Yeah.
This is such a good tutorial because I love how this looks. It's super edgy, like you were saying, Jackie. And I feel like it looks really good on all skin colors. Like we have a good mix of beautiful ladies today to really represent the pigment of this palette.
I can see the color literally like on everyone from here. It's so beautiful. And everybody has different lights in their home. And I could still see that shine, that blue, that green still like comes through. And that's this coolest thing about this palette. And Lauren, have you noticed that this color Secrets is also good for contour? If you don't have Hampton Socialite, you
Yeah,
could
so is the Galaxy. Is it Galaxy or Clarity? Hold on, I don't have my glasses.
Clarity. Yeah.
Clarity is really good for highlighter. I already put it on my nose.
Yes, let's do a little bit of that because actually
I like that color for the nose, and I just do it right down the center.
yeah. Exactly. Look
And
at
I
that.
like that. So I like that because I really do like to define my lips and my nose always. I've always said that for me, when I can't have my makeup done by somebody, I'm really big on sculpt, highlight,
Right.
contour, and less of eyes because I feel like when the face looks really finished, it's so pretty that you don't have to
Exactly.
add a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like you already know like those little tricks that brings your, you know, your face, your makeup out. So it's perfect. You guys are looking amazing.
And I think a couple things just like to mention because we went rather quickly, but like contour, right? I mean, not contour, but concealer, really important, not just to put a whole bunch of concealer right under the eye, you know, because that's where
Right.
your tendency, you know, your skin is much thinner, much more sensitive. So you don't want to pull so much there because then you'll see any fine lines that you have. And we all have fine lines. I don't care what age you are. When you're
Exactly.
concealer, so you don't want to put a whole lot. So sometimes I'll put it in the corner and I'll put it on the outer edge and then I'll just work it in that way.
Exactly. Or you do like those 3 little dots and then blend it in. That's why the sponge is so important because when you dab it, it's helping apply the color and also it's helping smoothing it, you know, smooth it out. So when you put some powder on, just do it very, very lightly. It's almost just to set it. It's not really baking or, you know, that's a whole other, that's a whole other night. But for stage and, you know, when I work with Loren, we try to do less is more and we emphasize on like the eyes or things that we could actually build and play with.
And I think the other important thing is to remember is just press, you know, rather than pull. So
Yes.
pressing is really important. So sometimes I'll just take a sponge and I'll press back around, especially here, because I'm telling you, this area shows age. So if you put just a little bit, I usually take like the banana color powder and I'll just press it in.
Exactly.
That it really does melt into the skin and I'll just press as long as you're not pulling. Even foundation should be pressed in, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, everything should be pressed in, dabbed and pressed onto the skin. Nothing should be pulled. I love foundation brushes, but again, you press the product with your foundation brush. You don't pull because what you're doing is you're putting it on and you're taking it away. And then you're like, oh, this foundation doesn't work. But that's because you're removing it. You have to press all the time. Exactly. Like Betty's doing. See?
And with the sticks, it's so nice because you can use them as concealer. You can use them to highlight, contour, plus your foundation. So they're so versatile that way. And I like the consistency almost better than a concealer. It seems to just set really nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to work as hard.
Exactly. It sets nicely.
I saw somebody asked if we put primer on before. I did. I always use the Lumia needle free always before I put on any makeup, just because I just don't want. I want to help.
Yes.
But, you know, I always do that. I always put on a primer no matter what. I think it make it so much easier for the makeup to apply to the skin and stay on the skin.
Right, and for the foundation sticks, if you have oily skin, I would recommend the matte moisturizer because it really tightens up the pores. It really smooths out your skin, and then you could go ahead and go and work the foundation sticks over that.
Yeah, I personally love the matte moisturizer. That's probably the main product that I integrated into my routine with 28 Days of Skin. And I always put it on every morning, but I put a little bit more before we started. And it really, I have a big light here, but it completely helps with shine. I'm from Miami, so if you live in a warmer climate, even better. I feel like it really does regulate your skin, especially in preparation for makeup.
Yeah. Always prime, like Loren said. Always do your moisturizer and then go ahead and have fun with makeup. I always say there's no rules with makeup. Just have fun and be you. And also be creative, you know, and a pop of color always dresses anything up.
Yeah, and I think if you guys take time, like, you know, when you're putting on your primer and your LDV products or whatever the products you're using are primers beforehand, always let them dry. Because if you don't, you're going to have a struggle. You're going to have a struggle trying to get things to blend properly. So you just got to give it a minute to dry. And then I always say, I blow dry my eyes when I put on mascara for a moment before I do the finishing spray, because the finishing spray to me is you don't go out without it. I don't care if you just did foundation and contour. I always use that, and I think that's super important. But I love how this oceanic color pops on every skin color. You can just see it on the screen. Everybody
know.
looks so beautiful with it. It's just really great. How do you guys feel with it on? Because it's kind of a fun color, but a little scary at first, right?
I honestly love the palette. I like, Jackie, how we did one of the more neutral colors all over like a base. I think that's a little bit of like a comfort zone for those of us that aren't really used to like bold colors of makeup. And I'm a busy mom. Hopefully you guys don't hear my little one, but so I love palettes that have a lot of function or multi-purpose. So like Loren was saying, you can use Clarity to highlight, or Jackie, I think you were saying Secrets is a little bit like Hampton Socialite, and you can
Contour,
improvise. Like you said, there's no rules with makeup. So I just encourage everyone to have fun with it. This is an amazing palette, and I love this size. It fits in your hand. I love the packaging, and this is limited edition. So once it's gone, it's gone. So we do have a really amazing group on tonight. Everybody looks so beautiful, and I think you can see on a range of ages and skin types and tones that it really is pretty on everybody. So
It really does.
get it.
And it really does look pretty on everybody. And I think the fact that you can use, like, I would use any one of these colors just as a good neutral base if I were just putting on something light.
Yeah.
But I would also, like Jackie, use the darker color to go underneath and a little bit of blue in the center, which I like under the lash line. But I would also use this color here, Secrets, to go underneath my lashes if I were just doing something very basic and simple for the day. But the fact that it's magnetic and it really is secure and it's so pretty, and that you do have that oceanic pop of color, which honestly, to be honest with you, when I first saw it in Maria at international, was that international convention we did the virtual?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, scary, that scary one. When we did the international Zoom event, I first saw it on, I was like, oh my God, I love that color. I want to wear that. But you know, I'm always hesitant to go away from my bronzes and my beiges and things that I'm so used to. But I was like, let's try that, and we'll braid my hair and see if it works. And you know what? When you look at you guys, I realize how well it works on everybody, because it really just gives you a nice pop. And the fact that I think, Jackie, you kept it on the center of the lid, just went just slightly above the crease. Because I think people have a tendency, like I do love, you know how I love our crease brush, but I think people have a tendency to go too far up, and you don't, you know, you don't need
Right.
to.
Yeah, you don't have to go so far up, or you could just stay right at the crease, or if your eyes are deep set, add more color, or add more of the brown, which is the untold color. Or if you have a, you know, like more of a flat shape eye, you could actually create the shape that you want with these colors, which that's why, you know, they're so versatile. You could use them for really pretty much your whole face. So I'm excited to have done this with you guys.
Yeah, and I think there's so many people asking so many, there's been a lot of great questions. The idea is behind this is to have a lot of fun. We've been having a lot of fun on Monday nights doing this, and I'm glad I learned how to do this too, Jackie, because like I've said before, I usually just sit there and close my eyes and I'll take a 10-minute nap when I get my makeup done, and I'm always in a hurry. So for me, it's like kind of like a Zen moment for me to have a moment to myself and to think. And so sometimes I feel so, I'll wake up in a deep snore and I'll be like, oh my God, I just woke up from this. And she's like, it's okay, you can go back to sleep. But the idea is to have a lot of fun with it. I think the Horizon palette is by far my favorite palette of all of the palettes. Even though I love all of them, the Gold Digger and all of them, this is one of those ones that's great for travel for me. So if you're going somewhere for, you know, a week and you don't want to have to pack a lot of stuff, if you ever looked at your makeup bag, like sometimes I'll look at my makeup bag and I'm like, why is there so much stuff in here? And so now I've made like little makeup bags everywhere. So I'll have a makeup bag that's like a month of travel, a makeup bag that's 2 weeks of travel, and a makeup bag of 1 week of travel. And so I've learned now to grab the one that has the least amount of things in it, because that's why I always try to tell you guys, I always use eyeshadow and things or our bronzer as highlighter, sculpting. I usually have learned very well, especially having to travel a lot and stay in hotels, you usually have to compensate for items that you forget, right?
Right,
you,
exactly.
you've learned to find things that you can use in exchange. And so that's why I always say, I always would reach for this. And I'd always put this here. I'd actually always put it right underneath my eyebrow bone, because I don't like a lot of, like I said, a lot of shine. I
Right.
like less shine. So I always believe as you get older, you can still wear beautiful colors like this beautiful oceanic blue, but less brilliance up here and
Right.
more on the lid, to emphasize how beautiful you are, because I feel like sometimes women have a tendency to overkill it. And then we're taken away from all their natural beauty, right? So
Exactly. So less is more, just to, you know, bring out the beauty. It's just having fun with a little pop of color like I showed you. And you don't have to be afraid of color, you know, you could do it like I told you, you could just do it in the inner corner how I did the jade, or just right in the center. So I'm happy you love this look, Lauren.
I do, I really like it. And I think everybody should, I mean, now I have my glasses on, I can really see. You guys look like snatched, really good. Like super hot. Andrew, come check this out. Look at these girls.
I got it on.
Are you looking at it there? Well, do you see how hot everybody? Look,
Yeah.
Kimmy, you look great. Look at Keisha.
I
Girl,
know.
girl.
It looks good.
Keisha, you look gorgeous. Look at Andrea. You look beautiful with the hair up and all. Like it just jumps. Your eyes are jumping. And
And Loretta, did you see Loretta?
no, Loretta looks beautiful. Mary Claire's whole facial structure is just popping. You could wear your hair like that and still look good. But I think that, you know, and Amelia, Kathleen, everybody, I mean, Juliana, you look gorgeous too. Do you guys feel comfortable, right? With using that color? Like it's not something you would normally gravitate to, but you can see how pretty it is on everybody.
I was gonna say that I love wearing color personally myself. So using that blue was super fun and awesome for me because I love wearing it, but I know not everybody loves wearing super bright colors. And I was gonna say too that you can really just wash the color out by just not using so much. That can solve it too. Just don't pack it on as much. You can just get a light wash of the blue too if you don't want it to be too bold.
Right, right. Just like a sheer application. And that's the beauty of the colors.
Exactly, because they're so pigmented, you can just really shear it out a little bit if you don't want it to be too bold.
And you know,
Exactly.
the reason why I did Daddy's Golden Night, but you guys could have used a different color is obviously when I do a lot of eye makeup, I do less color on the lips. It's just a rule of thumb for me.
Mhm.
Less, you know, bronzes, natural colors, neutral colors on my eyes. I'll have a tendency to go for more pink or a slight red or a dark vampy color. But generally, if I'm just every day and I'm really popping off the eyes, I'll always go pretty neutral on the lips.
Mhm.
Remember, you can always, I think it was Lee who said that she makes that ombre look. You know, anytime you go lighter in the middle, and I do that a lot, I do that so my lips look bigger, obviously, because my bottom lip is obviously much bigger than my upper lip. Some of you have bigger upper lips and you have lower lips. I wish I had them both equally. We don't all get blessed that way. So you have to make it work, right? You have to pay attention to those things because it really does help make the face so symmetrical.
So for me, you're probably going to have to forgive me because I love, love, love color. And so I'm probably going to end up tearing up this palette. I'm going to take this oceanic and this jade, and my plans are is to make eyeliners with them.
Oh, that's a
Oh, I
great.
love that.
Yeah.
You know what you could use? You could spray your brush with 10 years younger, and you could, it almost becomes like a foil, and you could line your eye with like that.
Well, what I've been doing is I've been taking the glitter glue and then scraping off some of that in there and mixing it together. It does the same thing.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, whatever is more convenient. But like, I have this baby with me at all times, so I spray everything and I go for it. But that's amazing.
The other thing you can do, I'll give you guys another tip too that I've done in the past, is that I do love the brow palette because I'm all about brows, but not heavy brows. And I always use the wax with the different eyeshadow. If I want it to stay on longer and I don't have primer, I can use the wax. And I can also use the wax with the powder underneath my eye to make that powder last longer. Because, you know, sometimes that powder will go away, you know, before I'm ready for it too. So if you put the wax, it will last a little bit longer and I like it. It keeps it in place.
That's a great tip. It really sets it also. That's cool.
Any other questions? Do we have Sabrina?
much new questions come in, but these are such amazing tips. Does any of our panelists have additional tips for using the Horizon palette or the foundation sticks? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, if you guys have.
I would like to ask a question. Can these shadows be used wet or dry?
Absolutely. You could for sure. I would recommend wetting the ones that have the shimmer, like Oceanic, Shallow, and Jaded. Those are great for you to wet. The more matte ones, I would keep them matte and just keep them as your natural makeup. And then the other ones, you could play them up and you could do a liner with Shallow. You could do liners. You could do, you know, what we did today. And you could actually wet it and just to give it that brightness. So I'm just going to show you.
Yeah, let me see that.
So I'm going to wet my brush. I'm using the 10 Years Younger spray. I'm going to go ahead and dab Oceanic here. And see, I don't want to cover my light. I'm going to go right in the center. And it just makes it a little more intense. See that?
Yeah.
So you could do the same thing, just like an eyeliner, like Betty was saying. That works really beautifully too. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my spray. And I'm gonna do the lip liner brush that I love so much with the jade color.
Oh, I love that color.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do, I don't wanna cover my light. I'm just gonna run the green on the bottom. You guys see that?
Beautiful.
Your eyes look gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And that's the beauty about these colors, that you can wet them and you can really intensify it and have fun with it.
Good.
Say that too.
I'm sorry. These are all great tips that you can share with people, because I know when I meet with clients, this is the kind of things that they want to know. And going into new seasons too, they want to know what colors are popular, like what should I do to my eyes to kind of stay on trend. And I think blue is one of those colors that a lot of people are afraid of. So just by kind of showing them, like, you don't have to do your whole entire eye. You can just add pops of that color in there and, you know, keep a neutral lip so it doesn't feel as bold on you, and you all look absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, you guys really look beautiful. It reminds me when I was like, just so you know, Andrew, when I was like 14 years old, yeah, it was a long time. Anyway, it was a long time ago, but I used to love to put on blue Maybelline eyeshadow because that was all my mom could afford, but I would get in that blue eyeshadow, but it did not look like this. You know what I'm saying? It did not look like this, but God, I used to put that stuff all over my eyes. And everybody at school thought I did the best eye makeup, but now I really can say I did a good job tonight, Jack.
You did great. You look beautiful.
I mean, now
everyone really looks beautiful.
I didn't know where to go, but hopefully, I mean, you guys really look so beautiful. Rebecca, your skin looks gorgeous. Super beautiful. Mary Claire, you got the whole thing. I mean, did you ever see anybody can pull their hair back like that and look like that? It's hard to do. Very, 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 you look gorgeous. Can you hear us? We're talking about you. Okay. But everybody looks so beautiful. Loretta, you look gorgeous, and Juliana, everybody. And I got to tell you, here's the thing. We've been having so much fun these last few Monday nights together. I don't know about you guys. It's been kind of a release for me. A break for me during this time. And of course, you know, I talked about this with Andrew many times on Facebook. You know, be careful. COVID's coming back around again. Our numbers are climbing again. You have to be safe. We care about you. We love you. For those of you who haven't lived with COVID, it is a very challenging thing. I didn't personally had it, but both my brothers both our president and our vice president just recovered from it. Mark and Steve. My son-in-law had it. It is not a fun experience. It is very challenging, and everybody handles it much different, as Kim and I saw. Some people handle it better than others. Please take care of yourself. This is a very trying time for all of us, and I know that we all have the strong desire to hug and touch and have human interaction, right? So this is my human interaction with you, and these last few Monday nights have been so special and so remarkable. And I want you to understand that the next few Monday nights, you won't be seeing me because my husband and I have to do some traveling and do some things. So the next few Monday nights, the girls are going to take over and I'll pop in when I can. But I have truly loved this experience and I will be back on again, of course, as soon as I can, as soon as we get off some airplanes and stay safe. And we're going to be quarantining everywhere we go, but in hiding. So I, say prayers for all of us. And also, this Wednesday night, we have a very, very, Andrew, do you want to join in with me over here a second? Bring a chair around.
Sure.
This Wednesday night, we have a really, really exciting event happening where I'm launching the 28 Days of Health, which I'm really super excited about. And I'm going to be doing that as much as I can through our traveling schedule over the next 4 weeks with Dr. Deidre. And we're really excited about it because it's something that she's put a lot of time into. I've put a lot of time into. And I think now that just this coming up, what is today's date? It's the end of the week is the 31st, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I'm approaching, by the way, my 28 days of skincare in just a few more days. In fact, yesterday I took a whole bunch of photos and I forgot to post them. But it's really been really great to see how many people are committed to consistency. And consistency is so key to see the difference. And we've talked about this before. Many of you have a lot of the products. Many of you use a lot of the products, and then some people have them and never use them, right? So the idea is not just to buy products, it's about being consistent with them and being consistent for yourself. Taking care of yourself is super important. So it may not just be good for what's good for the skin, but it's also good for the soul. And I think it's so important that we take care of ourselves in a time like this when, mentally our hearts, our minds can be challenged when we're not with other people. I don't know about you. I try to be much stronger than everybody around me because, you hear from your grandkids, your daughter, everybody misses their friends. So I'm like, I get it. I'll be your extra friend today. I'll be your best friend today. I'll be whatever you can be. And you try to fill in the places, but you find your own self suffering at some point because, many of you who know me, especially Kimmy and Jackie and Sabrina know I love to be with people. I love to hug people. I love to be around people. I welcome being with people. And so it's been challenging. And I think that these 28 days have taught us a lot about ourselves. Number one, we can stay on a habit, right? Once we get through those 28 days, guess what? You can about do anything because that is truly what it takes to commit yourself to a habit, whether it be building the business or doing your skin, right? I mean, it's what we teach in the business, right? You got to commit yourself to those 28 days and then taking those 28 days and doing something special for yourself, like caring for your skin, trying a product that you've never tried before. Now the 28 Days of Health will be super phenomenal, right? I mean, we're really excited about Deidre doing
Well, it's
this.
great. So this Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, will be a nice overview with yourself and Dr. Deidre Mason. And it's going to be extremely valuable 28 days because to have access to somebody like Dr. Deidre Mason for our customers and potential customers is just going to be a great experience.
In our minds.
And yes, but you mentioned, nourishing your body from the outside in and from the inside out, or both, is very important. And so we've done that for 28 days of skin. And we're going to learn a tremendous amount with the 28 days of health.
Well, and I think what was really cool is that Andrew's been doing this journey with us for 28 days. And tomorrow he's going to be publishing what he's been doing, correct, Sabrina, for his 28 days of skin. And he even said to me the night before last, he's like, I got to tell you, Loren, my skin feels dramatically different, so much better. And I think that the rewards are clear.
Yeah, and I added several products to my regimen just based on learning from
us the other night from this experience. And I think that's so important. So first of all, for those of you who've been on day one with me since October 1st of the start, congratulations, you're almost there. For those of you who started yesterday, congratulations, you're on your way. For those of you who are joining me Wednesday night for Dr. Deidre's
overview
days of 28 days of health, I think you're going to be really excited. We're really excited because there's a lot of products that, like you guys, you have, but you may not be consistent with them. One of those for us particularly is Andrew is the best at making sure every morning, every afternoon, and every evening, we have our afternoon cocktail, our morning cocktail, and our evening immune cocktail that he works on.
I mean, I've supplemented heavily for
We've
years,
sub-
but since we
but the
started the
one-
quarantine, I boosted my regimen
And mine.
you did as well.
And
So it's
what,
been-
but one of the products that we didn't use regularly.
One product I haven't used, and it's actually one of our top selling products, is the Ultimate Aloe.
Yeah.
And so we're going to start to incorporate that. And another one for me is the Prime Secretagogue.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I love that because I heard you asking JR when he takes it, and I know JR takes it. But the aloe is one that we're looking forward to because, you know, we take it some, but we're not consistent enough with it. And if you listen to some of our own distributors, our own UFOs, if I listen to some of you, you're like, what? You got to be starting to take that right away consistently.
That was a phenomenal
And so
product.
that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be doing the same 28-day challenge with you with the health that we did here together with the skincare. I think it's just the beginning. Also, just prior, once we get through the 28 days of health, just prior to the end of the year, I will be introducing with Dennis Franks and his team the 28 days of getting ready to jumpstart your weight loss to success for the new year.
Mm.
Which we're really excited
Very
about. And we're really not stopping. And I think I see it picking up, like Olivia Lee's doing her 28-day challenge for the collagen product.
Mhm.
There's people who are picking it up. And I think they get it. You know, they get it that if they just stick with something, you can accomplish anything. So don't say that something doesn't work for you unless you're willing to put in that time with us. And so that's why I've been wanting to do this with you, because I know that if we do it together, I'll be better for it, you'll be better for it, and we'll all learn something new from it. This last 4 weeks have been phenomenal. Like I said, I'll be on Wednesday night again. And then after Wednesday night, I will be traveling for next Monday, but I will be popping in to check in on you guys. And I will be on the nights on Wellness Wednesdays with Dr. Deidre as much as I can.
And she's also going to make sure everybody follows MA Healthy Living
Yes.
on Instagram, and I believe also on Facebook, because on Facebook, that's where she's going to be going live every night.
Yeah, every night.
With
So I think every
information.
night she'll be going live. So imagine having, for me, it's all about the connection when you feel like you could be losing your mind a little bit. I'm talking to the same people every day. I'm seeing the same faces every day. I see Andrea smiling, so I feel like she's with me on that. You know, you get a little crazy, even though you love your family and you want to see them. At some point, I'm just like, oh my God, I have a migraine. Listen to all of you. You know what I mean? Because you're just in the house locked up with everybody. And for 2 nights straight, I had the worst migraine, right? I was like, just nobody talk to me, please, because you just start to lose your mental mind because you miss people. So I really have enjoyed this time with you guys and how special and just having the private interaction with all of you. This will not stop, guys. I promise you, this is something I'm committed to do, whether we go back to in person or not right away. I'm committed to you guys at least one day a week until we're back together, until we can hug in person and even thereafter, because I think we've been able to really establish and build relationships together. You guys are super important to me and I love you so much. Lisa, I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to add.
Yeah, so we actually have a poll that we would like to put up. We just want to know what time really works best for everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that moving forward. If you want to just vote, if you want these to continue at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern, or 7 p.m. Eastern, and that just gives us an idea. But I love being here with you guys every Monday as well. I've learned a lot from Jackie. I can't wait to learn more. Next week, we're actually going to switch gears again and go back to skincare. And we have a licensed esthetician that you guys may know. Her name is Jamie Kolf. And she's going to be kind of going over the essentials of skincare and kind of getting back to the basics. Talk about different value kits that are best for your different skin types. So I can't wait to learn from all of our guest speakers that we're going to have. We have a really full schedule all through the end of the year that we're going to be posting so that everybody can see ahead of time what we're going to be going over. So it looks like we're really close between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern, with 9 kind of trailing a little bit. So I'm going to end this poll in about 10 seconds. So make sure you get your votes in before I end.
And Andrew, did you want to say one more thing?
So yeah, so for this Wednesday night, which is going to be an overview of the 28 days of health with Dr. Deidre Mason and Loren, we want to encourage, and myself, but we want to encourage all of you, everybody, to have your customers and potential customers connect with this, because what a great opportunity for all of us to gain new customers, build share of customer, create more volume, create more retail profits during the next 28 days.
Yeah, and Sabrina, can you tell everybody when that we'll be sending the link out if we haven't already, and where they can find the link to join for Wednesday night so they can also share it on Facebook?
Absolutely. So that link is already available on all of Loren's channels. So if you go on her Facebook, you'll see that in the grid, or even easier, if you follow Market America on Facebook, just click the events tab, and that's where you're going to see all the events. So you'll be able to register for Wednesday, and of course any future sessions that may interest you, but we will plop it in the chat again so you guys have easy access to register. And to reiterate what Andrew said, definitely this is open to customers, people that you've met for the first time. This isn't a closed internal event. This is very much external, and we're welcoming everyone to join to learn more about this amazing new challenge.
And I asked you guys to make sure that you share it with your teams, your friends, your customers, your family, even if you just want somebody that you love and care about to get some really good tips and advice, and really work on their wellness. It's not only good for us inside, it's good for our soul to have somebody we can talk to. Right now, it's really hard to talk to any doctors during this time in COVID. So this really gives you guys an opportunity to have somebody you can connect with, right?
Yeah, somebody like Dr. Deidre Mason is it's so valuable to connect with somebody like that, be able to ask questions, gain knowledge.
Really special.
From her, and we're just so fortunate to have this community as well, especially in these times, the connectivity and
Absolutely.
having the support, with everybody here, helping each other grow their businesses, et cetera, is just such a blessing.
So Jackie, you were amazing as always. Lisa, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for these. I think we posted a lot of links in the comments. So if you guys are curious how to plug in, I'm going to actually post right now a link for the next series of events as well, because both the Monday night sessions and the Wednesday night sessions are available for guests. And so like Kitty was just saying that she's been inviting people, and I want you all to do that. I want you to personally invite people. Don't just share it on Facebook. We were talking about this in our accountability call this morning. It's so important to reach out to someone, because like you're saying, Loren, a lot of people are struggling with the lack of connectivity during this time, and you can be a light for somebody just by inviting them to join you, and not only have the fun and the interaction, but change people's lives with looking and feeling better. And Loren, I want
to introduce people to the business.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think people overcomplicate the business. This is the business. It's just about people. It's about the products, and it'll sell itself. So just fall in love with the process, take advantage of all that's happening. If you're not, you're really, really missing out. So thank you all for joining us. We look forward to seeing you Wednesday night and the future Monday sessions. And we'll be launching our schedule for the rest of the year shortly. We're putting a blog post and everything together, because we want you to be able to really plan ahead and be able to personally invite people depending on the topic, get your products ahead of time so you can follow along. So we sort of put this series together, fast and furiously, but in a good way. We really were just anxious to do this for all of you. And so just know that we're perfecting the process and making things more accessible to everyone. And let us know to comment on the Facebook post. Like, let us know what your results are and how you're doing with these. And I know Lee always starts a thread at the end of tonight for everyone following along. Please take a picture of your after, because that's always really fun to see all of the looks. So yeah, this was great. Thank you so much, Jackie.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun just to play with color and really explore this beautiful palette.
Yeah, there's going to be a great schedule, like Lisa said, coming out right after this. And I just reviewed it with Sabrina today. I really like it. We have a couple little tweaks here and there, but it is really a solid schedule through the new year. The 28-day challenge will take you through the wellness, and we will take you on the journey with us right after our New Year's resolutions to all work on our health, losing weight if you need to, on that journey with us, working out. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We have a lot of things set up for you guys. So we're really looking forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you guys.